Good evening. Welcome everyone to the Kiowa County Candidate Forum. We are putting this on behalf of Kiowa County Economic Development and Kiowa County Media Center in partnership because we think it's important to be able to have these conversations and community involvement. We did put out, if anybody had requests or had questions that they would like to be asked, to email us. I have not received any, and I don't believe Grant has either. So in constraint of time, with 18 people running for these positions and all of the questions that we had, we decided we needed to scale them back a little bit, so we weren't here until tomorrow. So just a little bit here. I've been here. I'm Julie Lyon, for those of you that don't know me. I know I've worked with many of you, or at least met you, in the past 2.5 years. I do economic development for Kiowa County and have worked closely with the Media Center. Grant actually recruited me here to start. I do not live in Kiowa County, but I love Kiowa County. And I hope that those of you that have seen me or worked with me truly understand that, you know, I have a passion for Kiowa County and am fully vested in this. So I was just doing some numbers. Grant and I have worked on several videos together. We've worked behind the scenes on multiple projects. This is really our first public collaboration. And so I was sitting back and looking over the past 2.5 years. When I started, my goal was I wanted to invest or get invested at least $1 million into Kiowa County. And over the course of 2.5 years, I was doing some numbers, and as of last week, just in grant funding alone, we've been able to bring in a little over $575,000 with the contracts that I signed last week. So total investment is almost at $1 million, and if I just finish the projects that I have currently in the pipeline, will be well over $1.5 million. So excited to be able to, you know, feel like I contribute in some way to this county. So tonight we do have 3 contested races, so we focused on those. So we have hospital board, and they're going to go first, and then city council, and then we will finish with school board. The format for tonight is going to be a 2-minute opening statement, 2 minutes per question, and then a 2-minute closing statement. Some of them have assured me they don't need 2 minutes. It's been an interesting process. I didn't know how many emails, phone calls, contacts, and stuff I would get. I have had one person call and ask about format. So you guys are learning about format at the same time some of them are. I've had 2 Facebook messages thanking us for hosting this tonight, and 1 other text message. So I'm excited to see this. We did kind of weed out some of the questions that could be incorporated into either intro or closing. And I did this at Peabody 3 weeks ago and hosted their city council forum. I only messed up 3 times. So my goal tonight is to mess up less than 3 times. If I mess up twice, I'm still going to consider that a win. And if it upsets anybody, this spot will be open for next year when we vote again. So I do have all of the candidates' names on pieces of paper, and I'm just going to draw them out of my little magical pot made by Stacy Barnes. And that way I don't forget anybody, because at Peabody we tried to cycle through and start new, and then I forgot some people equally. So this way everybody will have a chance to answer. It will be random, and I do have cards up here for timing purposes. So they will have a 1-minute warning, 30-second warning, and then it's going to be time to stop. For the sake of time, mics will be cut off. We don't have a lot of time to go past the 2 minutes tonight. So once again, I'm happy to do this. I love elections. I serve as an election judge, have for multiple times. Whoever wrote me in for hospital board last year made my life. It made me feel like I was a part of this community for the first time. So I think this is neat because we're sitting here amongst friends and people that we go to school with, church with, interact with at work, that take care of us at the hospital, you know, people that are friends and neighbors. And I always think of the people. And that's what this is. We have the opportunity to be one of those that is just an ordinary person that doesn't have any special privileges or power. It's just we are one of the people, and we have the opportunity to serve. So with that, we will start with hospital board. And so I'll invite Aaron and Mandy up, and we will begin. So our first question tonight for hospital board candidates is, what does it mean to be an effective advocate for our hospital? These were sourced from multiple community members, and we talked about, you know, how could we get best responses that meant something to people that were here in attendance tonight. So we will start with Aaron. So Aaron, what does it mean to be an effective advocate for our hospital? And there's a microphone in front of you.
What it means to be an effective advocate for our hospital. Basically, the board is there to manage the money, and that is it. We set policy and try not to micromanage the hospital. That is the CEO's job, not ours.
Short and sweet. Okay. Mandy, what does it mean to be an effective advocate for our hospital? Oh, yeah, see, there's one. We didn't do intros. You could do intro first, and we'll come back to you, Aaron.
For those of you that don't know me, my name is Mandy Gilchrist. I absolutely despise public speaking, so I have notes that I'm going to read off of tonight. I was born a Kiowa County resident where I lived in Mullinville with my family until I was 4 years old. Moved back to Mullinville to start college at Dodge City Community College before moving back to Wichita, where I met my husband, Brandon. Together, we have 3 children, Jordan Smith, Brooklyn, and Aubrey Gilchrist. We moved back to Mullinville in 2016 to care for and be closer to my grandparents, Dave and Susan Moyer, as they got older. We bought our home in Greensburg in 2020 and have planted our roots deep into Kiowa County. I worked for Kiowa County Schools for 5 years before moving to the Kansas State Department of Education last January, where I'm a physical auditor and can put my business degree to good use. What does it mean to be an effective advocate for our hospital? Being an effective advocate for the hospital starts with building good relationships with administration, providers, leaders, staff, and the community members in which they serve. Listening and learning helps us to value support from others and to not limit our perspectives by making a commitment to partner with different and like-minded individuals. I also believe that being an effective advocate for the hospital means using the services they provide in some capacity, a role in which I feel like I can fulfill as our family doctor is at the clinic. We use the lab, radiology, physical therapy services, the emergency room, and several times the hospital rooms. I am passionate about the quality and quantity of services offered, the staff performing those services, and the patrons that utilize any aspect of Kiowa County Memorial Hospital.
Thank you. Erin, do you want to introduce yourself? Would you like to introduce yourself? I totally skipped your introduction. Okay. So now that we've done both of those, we'll move on to our second question here, which is, what do you feel are the most prominent health needs of our community? And we will start with Mandy.
The most prominent health needs of our community are having a hospital. I think at times we take for granted how blessed and fortunate we are to have the hospital, clinic, incredible providers, and all the extra services right here in our small county. Without access to and use of the hospital, my family wouldn't be able to live in Kiowa County. Does that sound extreme? Maybe to some, but as a mother to 2 children whose lives depend on having the hospital in close proximity, it is a pretty big deal. For others, not having access to the hospital means life expectancy decreases and mortality rates rise in the event of an emergency.
Erin, same question. What do you feel are the most prominent health needs of our community?
Aspects are very important to a hospital, but the most important right now is the elderly.
Okay. Third question, which is an important one, and for the group that we had sourced questions from, we thought this was one of the top ones. What specific skills do you have to qualify you to serve on this board? And we will start with Erin.
The specific skills I have, I've been on the board for 12 years. I've run 5 businesses successfully. The most important thing as board chair is to keep the board focused on what the problems are. And that's basically it.
March of 2023, I was asked to join the Patient Family Advisory Council at Kiowa County Memorial Hospital, where I attend quarterly meetings as a community member who utilizes hospital services and partner with hospital administration to identify and address challenges at Kiowa County Memorial Hospital. I grew up with a mother who worked as an ICU nurse in a hospital, have spent many of nights in hospital rooms in 3 different states with my children, and am able to bring outside experiences into our local community hospital. I have a business degree with a focus on accounting and can bring value in the business realm to the leadership and fellow board members of Kiowa County Memorial Hospital.
Thank you. We'll now offer 2 minutes apiece for anything closing. If you wanted to touch on something that maybe you didn't feel like you were able to cover with these questions. And we will start with Mandy.
Don't really have anything else other than to say I would appreciate your vote on November 7th, and thank you for your time this evening.
Erin? Okay. Very good. Thank you so much. So I just think it's so important that we are thankful that we have so many people running this year. Serving in any type of position is really a selfless act. It does take time away. We understand that it's far more than just attending meetings. So I hope you guys are really appreciative and thank everybody for at least putting their name on the ballot and showing up. So I would invite those that are running for Greensburg City Council up to the stage.
Maybe it's time to start winding down, or maybe you can finally gear up. Either way, it's time to start winding down, or maybe you can finally gear up. Either way, what you need is the space to do it and the freedom to invest in what matters most. A place where you can find yourself all alone, but never lonely. Where staying busy is always optional, but knowing you are valued is not. Where quality healthcare is for friends, not clients, and access to the best broadband means less time traveling and more time connecting. More time to read stories, share stories, and continue to write your own. Where you can know exactly what you want to do each day, or simply leave your plans up in the air. Somewhere to drink in the beauty of nature, share a cup of coffee with neighbors, and where breakfast isn't really about the food. Because out here, there's a sense of belonging that can't be explained so much as it can be felt, and strangers are just friends that you haven't met yet. So when you embrace all that our community has to offer, it returns the favor again and again. Kiowa County. Open spaces, open minds, and open for the best years of your life.
Okay, so we were a little shy of the 6 that we have on the ballot, so I'm only putting 4 names in the magic jar here. So we're not going to forget our intro this time. So I will give you guys 2 minutes, and we will start with Devin.
My name is Devin Bundy. I did not even plan on being here tonight. I didn't think I was going to make it, so I prepared nothing. But most of you know me. I've lived here my whole life. Growing up, it was easier to introduce myself as Gene Bender's grandson to most people, and that still rings true in some circles. But I'd like to get on the city council, and I feel I can represent maybe a group of people in this community that sometimes get overlooked and bring some more youth to the leadership of this town. Thanks.
Okay. Wayne.
I'm Wayne Keaton, and most of you probably know me as Julie Keaton's husband. So, trophy husband is she refers to me as. So I started to gain weight once, and she's like, "Well, at least you'll be a big trophy." In all seriousness, we've lived here now going on 12 years. I grew up in western Kansas. I graduated from Buckland High School, went on to Pratt Community College on an academic scholarship, and then went to KU, and thanks, Doug. I'm also known as Doug's neighbor. So, yeah, the boys refer to him as Uncle Gug. So, anyhow, went on to KU, got a master's in accounting and information systems, and we've come back and we manage the pharmacy, or Julie manages the pharmacy, and I work with Morningstar Farms and do commodity and hedging and some accounting. So,
You guys are doing excellent on time. Patricia.
Fuller. I moved here in 2015. Before my kid was not quite 2 years old, and he just celebrated his 10th birthday on the 22nd. I grew up in Buckland, so moving from one small town to another has its own challenges. I moved over here not knowing anybody and having to make those connections. And with a young child, it was kind of hard to get out and about. Some of you guys might recognize me by my face or maybe my name. Hopefully tonight you can put the two together. I'm currently the business office manager at the Kiowa County Memorial Hospital. And I just really want to be on council and be involved, and I'm available for people to come ask me questions or talk to me with concerns. I'm very responsive, and I really just research answers and make decisions based on facts.
Thank you. That leaves Doug.
My name's Doug Ulrich. Kind of like Wayne, everybody probably has no clue who I am, but I'm Carrie's husband. She's the administrator of the health department, and everybody knows her, so I'm kind of in the same boat Wayne is. I was born and raised in Hays, Kansas. I spent 6 years in the U.S. Navy as a corpsman with the 2nd Marine Division. When I got out of the service, I married my lovely wife. We have 2 children that we raised here in Greensburg, and now we have 2 grandchildren that are being raised here in Greensburg. I work for Pepsi Foods North America. I have for 25 years. You guys know Pepsi Food North America is Frito-Lay, but I'm the sales manager for Western Kansas for them. So I guess the reason I am interested in running for city council, Carrie's dad, Rick Schaefer, he served on this council when they first moved here back in the 80s, and when he ran his business, when he owned GOS, and he served later on in like 2000, right after the tornado, a couple years, and was part of the city council that helped get our swimming pool built. So he kind of instilled in me the, give back to your community, be part of the community, and we're at a point in our lives where we can start spending time giving back to our community. So that's what prompted me to run for city council. Thank you.
Thank you. So our first question for Greensburg City Council, what experience do you have with large budgets, or what financial skills do you hold to qualify you for this role? This is important, as in municipal budgeting is not for everybody. So let's start with Patricia.
Well, I've been a medical biller for over 10 years, and the billing is an essential part of all healthcare. And with that comes working with several people as a team to develop budgets. Making sure those claims are going through and getting paid brings the monies in the door that provide for that budget. So for a little over 10 years now, I feel like I've had lots of play in budgets and make an impact and have some understanding on how those large budgets are processed and what it takes to accommodate those budgets.
Thank you. Wayne.
Julie and I, we have the pharmacy here in town, and so I've had some experience managing that budget. And more the financials, a lot of times in a business, you don't necessarily have a budget. Good businesses have budgets, but not all businesses do. And that's sort of what's unique about municipal entities is they're not ran like businesses, right? So when I was at KU and in my master's work, I actually took a class specifically on municipal budgets, and it is quite a bit different. So I have some academic experience with it. I've been involved in budgeting through our church. I was on the media center board for a period of time, and I helped with budgeting there. I think sometimes we get hung up on I don't want to say small numbers, but I think sometimes when we think, oh my gosh, the city spent this many dollars on X, Y, or Z, and when you put that into the scope of the whole budget, I think we lose perspective on that. And I think that's one thing that's important as city councilmen and as the city government as a whole to help put some perspective in that. We're dealing with about a $1.2 million general fund for the city. And so when we get worked up or up in arms about, well, the city spent, $1 $1,000 on fireworks. Well, what does that mean to the overall budget? Where does that money come from? What else could that money have been spent on? I think those are all questions in our minds, and in my mind included. A lot of times we get hung up on what else could we have done with that money. Well, sometimes their hands are tied, right? So I've got a lot of budgeting experience from a business perspective, but I also know from a municipal perspective, sort of what needs to happen as well.
Thank you. Doug? The question is, what experience do you have with large budgets, or what financial skills do you hold to qualify you for this role?
As a sales manager for PepsiCo, I deal with budgets in the private sector. Obviously, it's a Fortune 50 company. It's an international company. We work with budgets every day, whether it's budgets for our fleet management, budget for our facilities, profit and loss and how we conduct our business. We also have to manage, salaries, benefits, employee costs, and we have to come up with, the ways that we are going to plan our money effectively to keep our employees employed and have benefits and take care of everything we need to. I think one of the things, I don't have a whole lot of experience in, public budgets or things like that for cities or counties, but I am a big advocate for transparency and checks and balances. And obviously in the business that I'm in, efficiency is a huge part of our business, whether it's fuel usage, how money's spent, different things like that. And I do agree with Wayne. Sometimes you look at the wrong numbers, or you look at a number that probably isn't that big of a deal. But at the end of the day, I think whether it's thousands of dollars, tens of dollars, pennies, nickels, efficiency dictates that you find out where all that money goes. You know where every penny goes, and you answer for every penny that goes out. So I think it's important to look at the overall budget, but I also think it's important to know where everything's going and to cut out, I don't want to say unneeded expenses, but maybe some waste or different things that don't need to be spent, to make sure that the city stays on budget and we don't raise taxes or have any of that to the people that live here in town.
And that's time. Perfect. Okay, our next question, and is an important one. That's number 2. Devin was still in the bowl. Devin.
Unlike my candidates sitting next to me, I don't have a lot of direct experience with big budgets, but I've been in agriculture my entire life, owning, operating cow-calf. Now I'm part of a pretty good-sized farming operation, and a lot like these guys. I think a lot of budgeting is looking at the whole picture, and as well as stepping back from the numbers aspect and just looking at it practically. I've seen some projects done in this town recently that I think could have been done differently, and I'd like to bring some, for lack of a better term, real world knowledge into the numbers of all of it.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to our next question, and I'll put all 4 back in here. Next question is, how do you plan to involve residents in the decision-making process of our town? Doug.
So I guess as part of the city council, part of my job, if elected, would be to, I guess have an open door policy. That's the way we do things where I work. The people I manage, the people that I work with, everybody from the president of the company all the way down has an open door policy. Making yourself available to the public to hear their opinions. One of the most important things, though, is community involvement. People in the public showing up to city council meetings or commenting on things when we have public forums like this. I've gone to multiple city council meetings in the last 2 years when they've had some issues that I was interested in following up with, and it shocks me the number of people when I'm in town will talk about issues with the city or with the city council, but nobody ever seems to show up for the meetings and are heard there. So I think that's the biggest piece of it, is just encouraging people to show up and take part in local government and not just, talking at the coffee shop or the quick shop about what should have been done, what I would have done. Well, it's kind of put your money where your mouth is and show up and say something. I think that's what we have to do if you want an effective local government.
Thank you. Devin. Yep. How do you plan to involve residents in the decision-making process of our town?
This question touches a lot on why I decided to run to start with. I would like to see more involvement from the community in the meetings, as well as having more public forums for people's opinions to be voiced. It has been a little difficult as of late to agree with a lot of the way things are done. I know there were some surveys sent out to get public opinion, and I don't think that's the most efficient way we can find out what the people want. Relying on people to turn in an online survey or mail something back in a community that is mostly made of elderly folks is not a great way to go about it. I would like to see a sit down like we're doing here with a big decision so people can stand up and tell you how they feel.
Patricia.
I also agree with both of them that we have to get the information out there. It'd be great to see the agenda published before time. The city council meetings I've been to, there's 20 chairs set up for the citizens to sit in, and the most I've ever seen is 5 of them filled, so that's 15 missed opportunities. It's also live streamed, and we just really need to get those comments that are made on the live stream to be there at the council meetings. And again, just really getting the information out there. I understand you can't go to every city council meeting, but if you saw the agenda and maybe it's a topic you wanted to touch on, you could go and attend and hear what they say. Just being active in that and being part of it and knowing what's going on in your community and just really have an input in it. It's your city. You vote for people to be in those chairs, but the decisions being made are on your behalf. So really just be active in it and partake in it.
Thank you, Wayne.
Like Doug, I think an open door policy is really great. If I were elected, I would welcome anybody to come visit with me one-on-one. Or, it's a small community and social media is prevalent. I would be more than happy to answer any questions that you have via social media. And in that same vein, I've been really encouraged by the city and some of our local government entities that are streaming the meetings online. I agree. I think having the agenda ahead of time for people to review would be really critical. But then I also think that the supplementary things that are handed out to the city council, I'd love to see some of those things handed out so that we can have some of that perspective on some of the issues that are so hot button oftentimes. Well, what is the police department budget and how much does that cost and where do those dollars come from? And if it goes away, how many of those dollars go away? And what would it cost to go elsewhere? I think everybody likes to complain. Everybody likes a good gossip. Everybody likes a good rumor. But if we have some of those facts, we can quelch some of those nasty rumors, or we can sort of stop some of the negativity that sometimes flows, because, well, everybody knows the facts and everybody's aware of it. And so I'd love to see the city continue to build on already a good platform of using social media and leveraging social media or the internet just to put out their information, as these folks have had. I know recently they've updated to where you can actually go and review the budget and audited budgets on the city website directly, and I think that's a really great step that our city officials have taken to try and share some of that information. I think as city council members, when we have people that have questions or concerns or praise even, to be able to go back and point at the facts and say, well, here's what the numbers really are, and here's what's really going to happen if we make this choice or that choice. And I think that'd be great.
Thank you. So several of them mentioned live streaming, and we have the Kiowa County Media Center to thank for our commission meetings, our city council meetings, our county candidate forum tonight. So it's great to be able to have people that maybe can't get out or in a different town or have events be able to access this information, even go back and look at it later, so they are informed before they vote. Our last question, and I have everybody back here, is what are the top 3 things Greensburg has going for it, and how would you build upon those? So what are the top 3 things Greensburg has going for it, and how would you build upon those? Wayne.
Well, I think we have great infrastructure. First of all, we have great parks and pools. We have good opportunities for the kids. We have good school systems. It's a great place to live from a physical asset standpoint. But lots of places have great infrastructure. I think Greensburg, though, also has a good story, right? And it's a story that was born out of the tragedy of 2007. But I think that that's a story that we can tell, and the resilience of the people here that built back. And I think that's the third and most important, or most the greatest asset our community has, is after the tornado, the people that came back are the people that wanted to be here. I think oftentimes in small towns, people just come back and they're just sort of trapped there, right? But when people came back to Greensburg, they came back because they wanted to be here. They wanted it to be home. And when my wife and I moved here 12 years, we stayed here because of that. We stayed here because the people here love this community. We love this community. We want to raise our 3 boys and little girl on the way here because this is a great place to raise a family, because it's full of passionate, resilient people that also love this community. And I think when we talk about building on that, I think continuing to be engaged in this community and not falling back into those patterns that small towns often do of well, I'm from here and they're not from here, or having those sort of things that small towns are often have some negative connotations with. That doesn't exist in Greensburg now, and I think keeping fresh blood in the city council and the local governments, I think that'll go a long way in order to maintaining this awesome path that Greensburg's on.
Thank you. Doug.
So I agree with a lot of what Wayne said. One of the things that I think Greensburg has is our diversity, as far as the people that are living here now compared to the demographics before the tornado. Before the tornado, this town was predominantly over the age of 60. We didn't have a lot of young families moving in. We didn't have a lot of young people coming back or living in the community. It thrills me, Carrie and I are the second generation of our family to live in Greensburg. Generation 3 and Generation 4 of our family live right down the street from us. So we're here for the long haul. Having a thriving senior community, as the post commander for the American Legion, I've sponsored dinners. The Legion has sponsored Quilts of Valor deals at the Senior Center. And I love going in there and seeing how many of the senior citizens in our community come into our senior center every day. I love the fact that my neighbors, a lot of them, like this guy here, they have a lot of young kids coming into the community. They have young families that are coming in. That's something we need to capitalize on. One thing COVID taught us is a whole lot of jobs can be done remotely. So with our infrastructure, the relatively new parks and everything being built after the tornado, we could capitalize on getting people here to work remotely, and young families, you know, and having the hospital and all the stuff for seniors to do. Definitely, you know, it's a good place to retire. It's a good place to move to raise your families. We have a good school system. I think we need to capitalize on that. And I think we also need to take advantage of the highway that we have coming through this town and expand businesses on the highway and take more advantage of people passing through to, you know, bring more income to this community.
Thank you. Devin, what are the top 3 things Greensburg has going for it, and how would you build upon those?
I think living here, we often overlook things, and then you sit here and you listen to these guys talk and you start to look around. And our community, for as small as it is, we have a terrific hospital. We've got a great school. This theater is pretty amazing. And the community here, the people that live here, are second to none. But I do think it's important to take the hospital and the school and really advertise them as a reason to move here. And we've got to get some younger families and some businesses to get into this community before we run out of reasons to move here.
Thank you. Patricia?
So Greensburg is already known as a travel destination. We have the big well. We don't have a problem getting people into town, but once they get here, there's not much for them to do. It'd be great to really grow the businesses and promote the ones that we have. And also Julie with economic development, she's a wealth of information and knowledge and grants, and she could make a huge impact on this community as she already has. So it'd be great to continue that going forward. And then also the pride of the community. Everyone loves living here, but over the last 2 years, I think there's been so much negativity that we have to overcome that. As you know, we've been on the news for a few things, and it's not in the best light for Greensburg. So we really need to bring back that pride of Greensburg. And then when people come to visit, they want to stay because of how much we love our town and that it shows. So just really, you know, growing those businesses and growing that pride and just loving your hometown and wanting others to make it their hometown.
Thank you. We'll now have 2 minutes for closing statements, just to give any final thoughts or answer questions that maybe you feel need to be answered. So we will start with Patricia.
So as I said, a lot of you guys might not know me, but I really do love this town. I have had no regret making this my child's hometown. This is what he's going to grow up knowing. So I really have the ambition to make it better and to be a part of that. And really, I'm very accessible to the public. Like they said, social media, it's easy to get a hold of people. Just really ask me questions. If you're not sure how I feel about things, come ask me. I have no problem talking to you. And I'm very accessible, and really I have the motivation to want to better this town, and I would love to be given that opportunity.
Thank you. Doug, 2 minutes.
Okay, I don't have a whole lot, ma'am. Can you get control of that toddler back there? She's rather distracting. No. That little girl right there is the whole reason that I choose to run for city council. I want to help direct how this city's ran, how things go in the community for not only when Carrie and I retire here, but I want to see my grandkids be in this community and stay in this community and, hopefully enjoy being raised in a small town. So that's why I'm running. I think I would be an asset to the council, and I hope you vote for me November 7th.
Thank you. Wayne.
As I said, Julie and I are here by choice. We love this community. We love this city. We love what this city has helped us build in the business that we have. And I see this as an opportunity to give back. I feel like I'm qualified for the job. I understand how budgets work, but I think I also share some of the same conservative values that all of you have. I've lived in Lawrence, I've lived in Wichita, and I live in Greensburg, and I don't want Greensburg to turn into any of those places. Not to speak ill will on any of Lawrence or Wichita, either one, but Greensburg's none of those places, and I don't envision Greensburg becoming those places. We live in a small community with people that care for each other, and I want to continue to promote and foster that sort of a community to raise my kids in and to grow old in. So I would also appreciate your vote.
Thank you. Devin, we've got 2 minutes.
As I said before, I've lived here most of my life. I moved away a couple of times and seem to always find my way back. There's something about the Greensburg community, and I think it's time to step up and really be part of it, as this is my home now. A lot of people may consider me to be pessimistic and negative until you really get to know me, but truth be told, I think I can bring a lot of balance to the council and really try and do some good here. Thanks.
Thank you. Let's give our city council candidates a round of applause. We're going to take a few minutes and reset and get ready for school board. George did open the bar for us tonight. It was a question, and I thought, if it's a way that the theater could make some money and help everybody just kind of settle in for, 10 candidates, that wouldn't be a bad idea. So feel free to get up, stretch your legs. We'll get set up here and then come back in 5 minutes or so. I'm sorry? I have not heard from the other 2 candidates.
You hear that small businesses are the backbone of a community, but when it comes to doing business in Kiowa County, small is not how we see the places we pick up the essentials, buy a gift, or take the family out to dinner. These places are here feeding us, dressing us, keeping us caffeinated, maintained and entertained, making sure we are pampered, healthy, running and rolling, fixed up and growing. We know the people who own these local businesses, who put in the hard work and passion to ensure the business is here and open. These efforts no doubt create a better and stronger community, because sometimes it's a convenience or luxury, and others it's a necessity. Either way, to have these options within our own community is appreciated. So when you own a small business in Kiowa County, there is nothing small about it. We are Kiowa County, Kansas. Open spaces, open minds, and open for business.
Hand out the window, head for the sun. All of the stars turning eyes waking up, we got some living to do. Never gonna give it up, never gonna let you go. It's all been waiting for you. Never gonna give it up, never gonna let you go. We got some living to do. Good day, good day. Can't wait. Get ready, here comes a good day.
Okay, it's just 8 o'clock, which means that we are just blazing through this thing. Everybody doing okay? Can everybody hear okay? Everybody okay with mic responses and stuff so far? So we have 10 people running for school board, and I only have 5 candidates up here. So I'm missing a few, so if you're out there, I've got Paul Kendall, Tyler Heinsohn, Jason Noble, Jay Winfleener, and Keisha Charlton. So, okay, did everybody get hydrated? Are we good to go? I have everybody else in the bowl. I'm going to try to do better because I cannot afford this third mistake. I did recruit some help. I may have said the word bribe, but we have Thayer up here. He's going to be our official timer since nobody's paying attention to me over here. So we've got him front and center and all eyes on him. So I appreciate your help. We've got our civic duty going on right here at such a young age. Thank you. We will do introductions this round. We'll do closings as well. One of the things that I thought maybe was important to mention is that we did send out the questions ahead of time, so candidates kind of knew what to expect. They were able to prepare if they chose to do so. Thanks to Grant, we have not only who we have running, but also the questions have been up behind everybody so you guys can see the questions. So if I've not repeated the questions every time, it's because they had them ahead of time, and I'm happy to repeat them as much as necessary. So, good? Everybody good? Ready to proceed? Okay, so we'll start with 2-minute introductions, and we're going to have our timer here. When they start talking, we're on it. Introductions for school board candidates. We will start with Jamie Brown.
Okay. All right. I'm Jamie Brown. I've lived in Kiowa County. Let's see, I'm 41 years old. I've lived here about 38, 39 years. Grew up here. Own a business here in town, Brown Auction Real Estate out on the east edge of town. My family farms. I try to stay as active and involved as time allows me with that. Have a family here. I have 4 children. My oldest is in 6th grade, and my youngest will be in preschool next year. So I have a pretty active and involved interest in our local school system and the direction it's going. I've got some experience sitting on different and various boards throughout the community, whether it be Cemetery Board over at Mullinville, Kiowa County Extension Board, and some others as well. I've kind of really just gotten into that in, say, the last 5 to 10 years total. It wasn't something I was very interested in earlier in life, and it was something I went into a little bit cautiously, but it's also a process that I have bought into as I've learned more about it, have began to understand the importance of a board, whether it be a city council or a school board or hospital board or all the various agencies. It's a thankless job. Thayer, I very much appreciate you. I want to tell you one thing. I'm going to break the rules more than anybody, and Aaron Einsel yielded all of his unused time to me. So, thank you, bud. But I will wrap that up. Local community member here, been here basically all my life, have roots here, have a business here, have vested interest in the future, and look forward to the future.
Thank you. We do have the ability to cut the mics, just saying. Tony, 2-minute introduction.
Alrighty, my name is Tony Hatton. I'm fairly new to Kansas, roughly 2008. I went to school at Barclay College, not too far down the road. I do have a family of 5. My oldest is also in 6th grade, and my youngest is in preschool, so definitely have a vested interest in being on the school board here. I believe most of the people know here that I work at the health department, and we bought a house that was pretty beat down that we fixed up. As you can see, it's on Grove that way. So, yeah, we're here for the long haul. Thanks.
Okay. Haley.
My name is Haley Kern. I think most of you know me. I've lived in Greensburg for 18 years. We moved here just in time for the tornado in 2006. And I like to say that we have chosen Greensburg 3 times over. We picked it in 2006, and then my husband said, if there's a school, we're staying after the tornado hit, and we chose it again in 2007. And then when we built our house a few years ago, we're here. We're lifers. So I'm invested in the community. I've served on multiple boards from city council, county extension, church boards, tourism. I like to be involved. I have 3 children. My oldest is a senior, and then I have a 8th grader and a 3rd grader. So the health of the school is very important to me.
Thank you. Lance, 2 minutes.
Most of you probably know me. My name's Lance Nelson. Unlike Wayne Keaton, I'm not a trophy husband, but I do have a trophy wife, Megan Nelson, and I have 2 wonderful stepdaughters, Addison and Emerson. Emerson goes to school down here at Kiowa County. I work for Alliance Ag and Grain. I've worked in the county for 25 years. I'm currently the agronomy manager down here. Went to Kansas State University, graduated there, came back here, and have worked in Kiowa County ever since then. So I'm pretty much a lifer now. So thank you.
Okay, then we've got Kai.
Okay, I'm Kai Gamble. I think most of you know me. When questions got dropped, because of time constraints, one of the questions that got dropped is, why do you want to be on the school board, and what skills and experiences have you had in the past that you think would make you a good board member? So I want to use my intro time to cover that. I originally ran for school board because I wanted to make a difference in our community and our kids' lives. I did not say my kids, I said our kids, because all kids in Kiowa County are our kids. It takes a village to raise kids. That still holds true today. I want to thank everyone that has given me this opportunity in the past. I hold a Bachelor's of Science degree in education from Fort Hays State University, and although I have never taught, that gives me the vision to see things from the teacher side. I am an advocate for all kids, as I also serve on the Board of Education for our special education cooperative that we belong to at Pratt with 14 other districts. That work that we do in helping those special needs kids is very dear to me. While serving on our board, I was a founding member of Friends of Education Charitable Trust, drove an activity bus for no pay when we couldn't find drivers, started the Farm to Table program for farmers and ranchers to donate cows to feed our kids real hamburger. I bring equipment to the school to help clear snow after big snows. I donated the asphalt to pave the parking lot west of the stadium, oversaw the building of the new school with no taxpayer money, and have attended 419 consecutive board meetings without a miss. I've been on a negotiations team since elected. I currently chair the nomination committee that brings candidates to the floor at the KSB, Kansas Association of School Boards annual meeting for the next president of Kansas Association of School Boards. I have done leadership sessions for Kansas Association of School Boards and represented us well. I have connections statewide that help us hire the best staff. As you can see, there is more to being a board member than just showing up to meetings, and I will continue to do all these things and grow into new ones if reelected. Again, thank you for the opportunity.
Great timing there. Okay, our first question for the school board. What do you believe to be the biggest challenge facing rural schools? Kai Gamble.
I don't think there's just one challenge facing us as rural schools. There are at least two big challenges facing us. First, we're all suffering in rural America from declining enrollment. It's hitting rural Kansas hard. I feel at Kiowa County Schools we have successfully countered this because we have attracted 42, that number again, 42 out-of-district kids, kids that do not live in our district. They hail from Pratt, Skyline, Haviland, Maxville, Lewis, Kinsley, Buckland, and South Central. Their parents have chosen Kiowa County Schools because of our quality staff and quality programs, among other reasons. These kids have become part of our family. Earlier I said not just my kids, but our kids. Our family, and enabled us to keep existing elective courses when other schools haven't been able to, and even add our latest program, FFA. The second big challenge is the para-teacher administrator shortage that is going on worldwide, and that is much more pronounced in our rural schools because the candidate pool to choose from is so much smaller, and I'll cover more of that in a later question. Thank you.
Okay. What do you believe to be the biggest challenge facing rural schools? Tony.
All right. The biggest challenge rural schools are facing, I would say teachers, paras, that the help that teachers need as far as having paras in the classroom for each student that needs it, and then keeping those teachers from moving on to a bigger, better school with more resources or more amenities for their families and such would be the biggest problem, I would say.
Jamie.
No, I'm good. I got you. Thank you. I'm going to steal Kai's a little bit in the sense of I think there's more than one problem. I'm going to give you what going into this I kind of considered and then what just kind of popped in my mind. First of all is just availability to our students. I think as a rural community there are limited opportunities that we can provide to our students, whether that be athletic or academic or other. I don't understand, and maybe it is just straight, just not being around enough, but I don't understand why we don't have a home ec program. I think we have a great program in JAG, and I'm a big proponent of speech, and which falls and other things that fall under those. I think those are two programs that really, when you're looking at your older kids, really prepare people for later, or students, children, young adults for later on in life. I don't know where and not we, it's all around. It's rural America where we dropped home ec. But that's not a soapbox point. That's an example of what I'm talking about on availability on what we can offer to our students. And that's a big problem, particularly for rural schools working on limited budgets, on where do we draw the line on what we can cut, what we can't cut, what we can offer. So then what I just thought of, and this is probably less rural schools and more schools everywhere, and this is not going to be a popular opinion, but a big problem facing schools right now is parents. I think sometimes parents vote and they elect school board members, and in that vote they give trust to the school board members to do the best and provide the best for their children. Yet they're very quick to go and second guess the school board, the administrator, the teachers. That's not unique to rural area and communities, and I don't think it's a big problem here locally. But schools in general, and what they face and what teachers face, that scares me, and I don't know how you combat that, but it scares me that is what they have to deal with.
Thank you. Haley.
I'm going to kind of repeat what has already been said. I feel like the teacher shortage, recruitment and retention is hard. So that is one of the challenges. I think, any improper handling of funds will lead any district into a financially difficult time. And like what Jamie just touched on, I think rural districts encounter difficulties offering a wide range of curricular and extracurricular activities. Right now, I think Kiowa County does a great job, but keeping our band, our vocal, our industrial arts programs, and offering things like what Jamie mentioned, so every child has a chance to find their niche. Where are they going to shine? It might not be in just those core classes that some schools have to drop because of funding. So it just kind of goes back to wise use of money and keeping up what we've already started.
Okay, Lance, same question.
Hello? All right. I don't even know if I need to speak after these four went. I mean, it's basically the same issues, same topics. I think one of the biggest challenges facing rural schools is fiscal needs and labor. And I fight that at the cooperative. Every business in agriculture fights that as well. As the communities shrink, funds needed to operate in a fashion that provides the kids with the educational experience they need and deserve. Gets more difficult as time goes by. As far as labor itself is concerned, we all know this has gotten worse. And the only thing we can do is as a community, we have to show that we have a great community, great leadership, great staff to attract that labor into our community. So in my opinion, we fight this every day in our business, and it doesn't need to be beat to a dead horse. It's something we got to tackle straight ahead. Go find quality people, show them what this community has to offer, show them what our school has to offer, show them the assets that we have. We have some of the best assets there is around. It's something we're going to have to fight the good fight. We have a good town, we have a good community. We just need to press forward and do the best job that we can.
Thank you. This is going to just make them dig a little deeper. I mean, they talked about teacher shortages. So there is a teacher shortage in Kansas. What specifically can school districts like Kiowa County do to counteract that? And we'll start with Haley.
Hello. I think one way to help combat the teacher shortage problem is to have great relationships with the universities in Kansas that are graduating multiple teachers every year. You know, reaching out to those schools, you know, sending out information about what an awesome district we do have, and let them know that we have student teaching positions available, and take a proactive approach in finding those quality individuals to attract to Kiowa County. I also think it's very important to retain the quality teachers that we do have and find a way to support those teachers in the classroom, listen to what their needs are, what their struggles are, and do everything we can as a board to support those teachers.
Thank you. Kai.
There is most definitely a para-teacher shortage, but I am proud of the fact that I can say today we have all the positions filled at Kiowa County Schools with quality people. There are many small schools with positions that have been open for several years that they haven't been able to fill. And currently there are over 500 teaching positions open across the state of Kansas. When you have a great teacher in our school, and we've had many great teachers in our school, and their kids choose to become teachers, and we can hire those back, chances are we got second generation teachers that are great teachers, and that's what I call grow your own. That's an important concept that we have to utilize. School funding is based on enrollments, so we basically operate on a fixed budget from the state. The small amount of LOB money we raise locally with a small amount of LOB money we raise locally from taxes. We are very cognizant of our taxpayers' monies and have had very minimal increases while maintaining programs and opportunities for students. We have done this while giving raises to staff, and we're currently middle of the pack in our league. And I don't feel you can really count Spearville, Mineola, or South Gray being ahead of us, because those schools have a ton of windfall money from their wind farms in their county. There's other things that we can do to attract teachers. I'll never support a 4-day week at this school, and I'll go public tonight with saying that. I won't support it. However, that hurts us when we're competing for teachers with neighboring districts that have a 4-day week. Get the same pay, work 4 days, work 5 days. You do the math. It works. Well, anyway, long story short, that's why I supported the early off on Fridays for kids and teachers. That's a small thing we can do that didn't cost our district any money. Small thing we could do, and let teachers get out of there earlier. COVID has... Thank you.
That was time. Jamie Brown.
Some of my time, I cannot promise to be as disciplined as Kai. You're going to find that I'm not really going to answer this question. I'm going to piggyback on Kai a lot. I think sitting up here tonight, he's probably the best authority, the most experienced to answer this question. Honestly, I would say I did know that we are fully staffed. And I do know that there are a lot of communities in Kansas and a lot of small communities nearby that are not fully staffed. So I applaud the work of the current and past school boards that they've done to do that and to accomplish that. That is a big thing. Not really on topic of the deal, but why we brought it up, I'm not in favor of a 4-day school week early either. I think we don't have our kids in class enough. I think pulling them out and more hours out hurts them more than it helps them. Obviously, the challenge, it's everywhere. I think we're competitive. To my knowledge, I've spent some time. I've been going to some school board meetings as I can. I do feel like we present a pretty competitive pay rate. Maybe not the best, but certainly not the worst. And then kind of to piggyback on some of the things that were said earlier tonight, I think we have a lot as a community to offer to teachers and to bring people in. I love the fact that I can walk into our school and a lot of the teachers, whether they're teachers of my students or not, that I know them. And the reason I know them is, like Kai said, they were probably graduates of our school district or neighboring by. So I know them. I think that's something that we've got going that I agree. I think it's great, and we need to continue that as much as possible. Yeah, so I know it's a challenge, but I feel like as a school district, they've been doing a pretty good job on that.
Thank you. Lance.
Gamble, you'll probably have time after mine if you want it. But, I mean, these guys are right. I mean, everything's going good. Can we do things better going forward? Yes. I mean, we always have to have a vision to move forward. But I think there's three things that we can do for teacher retention. Not that we're doing any of them wrong, but I think one of them, it starts with our community, the community optic. I mean, every time I interview potential employees at the co-op, the first questions they ask me is, what's the school like and how's the community as a whole? And if we can tell the story as a community, that keeps people in our community, that makes it look attractive for them to want to become teachers or administrators at our school system. I think secondly, next is the leadership at the school. And I think if you have good leaders, that shows potential employees that this is a great place to live and a great place to work, which I think we're doing a pretty good job of that. I said, I mean, if people want to work for people they can trust, that creates a work environment that is fun to be in every day. Third, I think work-life balance is getting to be almost important as pay. So I think if you have a positive optic as a school and a community, this attracts new potential candidates, and it also helps keep retention rates in your community higher.
Thank you. Tony.
I'm going to agree with a majority of what most of these people have said up here as far as teacher retention goes and having benefits that teachers enjoy and want from a school district. But I would say, though, as far as attracting new teachers, like how will we attract new teachers when they don't have a place to stay would be the biggest issue. If we can address that, then we could, as far as gaining new teachers, go from there. And then counteracting that, like Haley said, as far as being in relationships and collaboratives with schools nearby, as far as your student teaching positions or just going out and having those at college fairs, like marketing said school, as far as, hey, come over here, we have X, Y, and Z available for you. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you. That was all of my names, so we're going to put these back in here. We're actually doing very good on time, so good job. The third question, what are some strengths of which our district can be proud, and what are your hopes for the future of our school? We will start with Lance.
I think one of the strengths we can be proud of is our assets. We have one of the nicest schools with some of the best facilities in our area. Our kids are very fortunate with what USD 422 has to offer. State-of-the-art classrooms, high-quality gyms, football fields, and a track. I think for the future, we need to continue to build on the experiences we have to offer kids and continue to offer the best educational experience possible, whether that be staying on top of technology or continuing to expand educational opportunities like was done a few years ago with the FFA program. We need to offer as many avenues as possible within reason to give kids the best opportunity to grow and be prepared for an ever-changing world after they graduate. Our job is to make sure when they graduate that we gave them every opportunity for the best education we can.
Thank you. Tony.
Yeah, hello. All right. So I believe that we have a great staff, teacher, leadership that's at the school right now. I also believe, like, in the relationships that we have within the community, as far as the media center and even the senior center, as far as opening up things for us there, and then being able to have that resource of the media center to what am I looking for? To display and record things as far as athletic events go, and plays and musicals for family that are out of state, such as mine. That's great. And the hope would be to continue that as far as growing outside of those relationships and creating more of a cohesive environment for students. Thank you.
Haley. Sure. What are some strengths of which our district can be proud, and what are your hopes for the future of our school?
I think our district has a lot to be proud of. A silver lining of the tornado is the beautiful facility that we have. It was built in a way that it can be added onto as our district grows, and we have, the best of the best, and that's wonderful for our kids. We have a solid foundation of educators, and I think that it's great that our schools and our teachers hold our students to high standards, and the teachers are also held to those high standards. And I feel like we have a strong curriculum. It challenges our kids, and the support is there in the classroom to help them when they trip. And so I think we have a lot to be proud of. The goal is just to keep on doing the good that's being done, keep an open mind, and look for ways to improve, and hopefully see our numbers grow.
Thank you. Jamie, what are some of the strengths of which our district can be proud, and what are your hopes for the future of this school?
Jump in and correct me when I say this or explain this wrong. If you look up our district online right now and you look at our graduation rate, it's not terribly impressive in comparison to other districts. However, that is a skewed statistic, primarily due to the Learning Academy, which brings our overall average down. If you were to look at our actual students in the building, that number becomes much, much more impressive. We are providing the number one job of a school is education. Everything else comes second. Athletics comes second. FFA comes second. Speech comes second. All of those can play into that number one goal. But first and foremost is education and preparation. Due to what has gone on, and I don't particularly disagree with nor the reason we had the Learning Academy, nor the reason that we've chosen to no longer have the Learning Academy, that has taken our statistic down. And so it looks bad on paper until you understand the reason of it. That is something for us to be proud of. Everything else that is mentioned, amazing facilities, great staff. The future, what I'd like to see and hope to improve on, I honestly don't have a lot of complaints. I'm not up here, we need to have this, we don't have this, we've got to fix this one problem. I'm not here because of one issue. If I had to look at something that I'd like to improve, and not even saying that it's terribly bad, but I want to see more school pride in our students. I want to see more activity and involvement and support of our students at some of those non-educational events, some of those secondary and extracurricular.
Thank you. Kai.
Okay, I'm very proud of the strengths of our school. We have all of our positions filled, which I alluded to earlier. We have many elective opportunities for our kids, such as JAG, FFA, shop, band, vocal. The list goes on and on. We have a van load of kids attending classes at Dodge City, ranging from welding to diesel mechanics to cosmetology. We've got that arrangement for those kids with Dodge City. And hey, it's working good. They're getting dual credit for that. We are more traditionally based in education because of our conservative background here in Kiowa County. We don't have a lot of problems other schools do. That's a strength. We can be proud of that. Our smaller class setting provides better educational opportunities and helps build relationships where everyone knows each other. That can be good or bad, but I view our school and staff like family. And everything is not perfect in every family, and you have bumps in the road, but at the end of the day, our school always tries to do what's best for kids. We strive every day to change and get better, because if you don't, you stagnate and die. As our rural population continues to decline, I hope and pray that this community and school has positioned itself to be a regional school in the future. I want to leave this comment with our mission statement, and I have 30 seconds. Our mission statement at Kiowa County Schools: to engage students in educational opportunities. Okay? To engage students in educational opportunities which will enable them to make positive contributions to their communities. That's our mission statement, and I think we do a pretty good job of fulfilling that. Thank you. The last one that I didn't get to finish, COVID was tough on us. It made life tough for parents, district administrators, teachers, everybody. Little things we can do for staff that don't cost money. They appreciate it. And I want to thank all paras, teachers, and administrators. We may have the nicest brick and mortar building in the state of Kansas, but it don't matter. It's what's inside that counts. Thank you.
Thank you. So I still feel, when we started and we sent out the first batch of questions, Grant and I kind of started talking, and we realized that this was going to be a minimum of 4.5 hours. So for it to be 8:37, I feel like we're doing very well. I hope you're all still with us. We're going to have closing remarks from candidates, and then if you would allow me to have a few of my own, we will wrap up and carry on with our evening. So closing remarks. Any final thoughts or anything that maybe you want to say that you haven't had the chance to say so far? We will start with Jamie. Got 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
I will do my best. So the other question that was sent out that did get dropped that I would like to address quickly, because I think you're seeing a lot of the same thought pattern up here, and I feel like you could vote for a lot of the people, and we'd be fine. We're doing good. We can do better. We can always do better. But the question was, what do you identify as the most important characteristics of an effective school board? And I don't know that I would limit it to school boards in general, but just boards in general and committees in general. And something that I feel like I do maybe to a fault is that I question things. I'm probably very like-minded with most of us in our community, maybe with the difference that I like to ask questions. And I'm not afraid to admit that maybe I'm asking this question because I don't understand. So help me understand, because if I need to make the decision for a lot of us, a lot of you, a lot of children, I want to make sure that I'm making an informed decision. And so I do feel like I do a fair job of questioning things and trying to get to the root of things so that I can make the best decision and most informed decision that I can. I didn't... I'll shut myself off short. Here's one thing I would like to say, and it's really more of just a compliment of everybody that is running and for any position. I'm excited by the fact that we have so many candidates for so few positions. And something that was brought to me, and I wish I could remember who it was, 3-4 weeks ago at a rodeo, someone said, and it was a quote that I loved. You can always get a busy person to do one more thing, but it's really hard to get someone who's not doing anything to do something. And I think we have a lot of people in this community that are very busy and have their time and attention divided many different ways, myself certainly one of those. But that's because those people are willing to try to do one more thing to better our community and our children and our future, and to do the best they can to help out. Thank you.
Thank you. Tony.
All right, in closing, I would like to say thank you to all of you guys who stayed and listened to us, for your time and just for being here. I would also like to open it up that I'm open. You could ask me anything if you need to after this or anything like that. And yeah, vote for me, please. Thanks.
Haley.
Okay, in closing, I just would ask for your vote on November the 7th. One of the main reasons I decided to run for school board this year is because I didn't see any female representation on the board, on the current board. And I feel like, when you have a school that's full of approximately 50% female students, and you have a staff that's probably upwards of 85% female, it's something that should be represented in the school board as well. And so that really is what motivated me. I think having a pair of fresh eyes to look at things that maybe have been kicked around for a while and haven't found a good solution for is always good. And I'm available. If you call me with a question or a concern or a praise, I will listen to your comments, and I will take that back to the board. But it's tough when you have a board and some of those people aren't available to you. So my promise to you is I'm available.
Thank you. Lance.
I get to give my background story earlier, but for the last 15 years, I've served on the Kansas Agribusiness Retailers Association Board of Kansas, and for 2 of those years, I was board chairman, and I felt motivated to do this because I termed out of my office in August, and I felt like after doing things on the state and federal level for all those years, I'd like to come back and give some service to my local community at home. I think to mirror what Jamie was saying, I think an effective school board is a collaborative effort as a team with no hidden agendas to work together to solve issues and provide vision for the future, while at the same time having challenged, thought-provoking conversation on any issues that arise. And through those discussions, move in a positive direction with the best interests of the kids, the administration, teachers, and the community all at the same time. The board also needs to be fiscally responsible and stick to sound governance and policy. A sound board moves as a team, not as one individual. When a board is united in its stance, when its decisions are made, it means that they put the effort in behind closed doors to work out any issues that need to be ironed out. A healthy board is a united front that makes decisions together even in tough times. And I'll leave a comment with a smart man that gave me this comment one day that said, an environment that is not safe to disagree in is not an environment focused on the growth, it's an environment focused on control.
Thank you. And our final closing will be Kai.
Again, thank you to the Media Center. Thank you to Julie and Economic Development for putting this on and giving us this opportunity to speak. thank you to each and every one of you for getting off the couch or out of the chair and coming out tonight to see what was up in the community. That's how we build a better community. In closing, I would like to say that I didn't give my background story initially either. I'm a second-generation graduate, possibly a third-generation graduate, depending upon how you looked at my grandpa. But regardless, both of my kids have graduated from Kiowa County schools. I now have a granddaughter in kindergarten at Kiowa County schools, and the next generation's coming in. I've been a lifetime resident of Kiowa County. My family's been here for years, as everybody knows, and we are vested in this community in more ways than one. My family has supported lots of various different things in this community, and I just love all of you and look forward to hopefully getting back on, and would appreciate your vote because I think we've got a lot of good things going, and I've heard that from the other people sitting here. So anyway, again, thanks to everybody that put this on, and I guess then the night's over until we have to listen to Julie once more. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give them all a round of applause. Thanks for staying, everyone. I've seen Grant back here in the background where he usually is, and just wanted to say, you know, like I said earlier, if he wouldn't have brought me here, man, I would be missing out. This has been such a good deal for my life to be part of Kiowa County, and I'm thankful all the time, and I text him sometimes like, thanks for giving me the coolest job in the whole world. It's so much more than that, though. We've seen how everything is so closely entwined, you know, throughout the county. Yes, Grant got me here, but, you know, the commissioners took a chance and funded a position that hadn't been funded for a long time. The city council has been super supportive of efforts that I've worked on. I have projects in all towns, well, 3 towns, Mullinville, Greensburg, and Haviland, of significant size. Housing, childcare, and workforce are the top 3 issues across the state. I feel like it's the biggest thing that I spend my time on. It was said here earlier, if you don't have a place for a family to move into, how can you recruit them here? If they move here and they don't have any childcare, how are they supposed to go to work? If they can't go to work, our workforce is stuck at home or stuck somewhere else because they can't move here. So it all is so closely tied together. I've been fortunate to work with the school, work with the county, work with all the cities. And I think there's a lot to be said for what is here. It's allowed things to come because you guys have very open minds and open hearts. And when we talk about childcare, we were short, I think, 58. We had 58 kids in the county that could use childcare. By the end of next year, we will have enough slots, not only for all the kids in Kiowa County that need daycare, but we should have some additional slots even. So there's been, I think, 13 housing units added in the past, 5 years, not because of me, but because of the cities and the counties that are working to do that. So it takes all of us, and it takes a lot of time and commitment and interworkings behind the scenes, and people getting together to acknowledge that and truly to celebrate what all you guys have. So I'm thankful to be a part of that however I can. And with that, look forward to more media from the Media Center covering projects that we have, because good people and elected people have made some good decisions in the past couple years. So we'll also have stuff on KC 24/7, which is our very own, news station. It was Grant's dream, and it's come to fruition. So it's been great to watch those things come to life when you know it's somebody's dream and somebody's passion. So I thank you for showing up. I hope that you don't fire me. I tried not to make that third mistake. So am thankful that you all showed up and thankful to have so many people running. So thank you and have a good night.